Maybe you can also explain a little bit the program.
It's not a program, it's a department, in fact. We are the School of Digital Technology in Paris. It's a high school. You know, in France we have Université et Grande École, maybe you don't know. In university, can go everybody with a bachelor, but in Grande École they must make 2 years of preparation. They stay in something in between lyceum, college and faculty. And after they make a very difficult concours, they can arrive in one of the Grande Écoles. The best is Institut Polytechnique, École Polytechnique, and the École Polytechnique with other 4 high school belongs to Institut Polytechnique, and Telecom, my school, is one of these schools of the Institut Polytechnique. You understand?
Yeah.
So the students arrive in our faculty, and they make 1 year undergrad students and 2 years master, and the master they can make it with double diploma in our faculty, but also others, Grande École, but also I don't know, Stanford, MIT, Professor of Economics, Torino, and so on. So today we have students from Italy, in fact, we work with them. They present a project about the emotion in the narrative of the migrants, how to extract that with artificial intelligence. And and Professor Lagarde was visiting Professor 6 months in our school.
I was a visiting researcher.
Yeah, and he was in this department. So we are a faculty with 4 departments, 3 technological and 1 social science and economics. And the majority of my colleagues, we are 80 researchers and doctorants and students in the department, 40 permanent position, and the others work with us in our research. And the specificity of the department is to study the use of new technology in different situations, with different digital technology. My specificity was, my field work was migration, and I'm the first probably researcher who funded what we call today the digital sociology of migration. What is this? It's a field where we work the knowledge of migration with digital threats. And all began with a manifesto that I read in 2000, 2003, something like that, where I say that the uploaded migrant is no more a very real reality, that we have another migrants for us, which is more connected, because the uploaded migrant was defined less, they cut the roots in the country from he left, and they don't arrive to integrate entièrement, completely in the host country, so he was more absent as presence, but with the new technology, the migrant can be very easy present in different places, and the present is much more important than the absence. In this figure, there are much more, and the presence and the absence can got also other quality with the new technology. And so that's what I said. And after that, I ran to prove it. And when I say collective migrants is something that navigate, in fact, in a digital environment. The first thing what I do when I want to study that, I ask them what you have in your bag, what you have in your pockets. Show me what give you access to digital infrastructure. So immediately I find the access capital, and I see on what corridor, digital corridor you navigate, and what I do after that. I take this trust. Yes. And in fact, this is my research protocol, and you will see it starts with a good traditional sociological fieldwork, observation, making this inventory, what we call habitat, access capital, after that we collect traces. After that we work with computational methods, and we have a knowledge, a very digital humanities knowledge. But it was not enough, because how you know, and maybe you work a lot with digital methods, we lost something in the road, for example, the emotion, or sometimes the digital method was already exist, didn't how to say, satisfaction to our sociological research. And I started to explain what's happened with diaspora. Yes.
Can I just add something?
Yes, please.
So here we have a lot of conversation about migration in the news, but it has mostly to do with one border, whereas in France and Europe, the situation is very different.
Yeah.
And it's much more broad in terms of all the various cultures that come through North African, Algerian, African, Middle Eastern, Asian.
I'm looking for before for a presentation for e-diaspora. I can go directly on the website because you can find everything on the website. But I have a PowerPoint. It's here. Okay. I will introduce you quickly this PowerPoint, and after that we will go to where the atlas is today. Is here on the web. You see that? Okay. Here is the definition of it. What is this e-diaspora atlas? This was one of my main project, very important project. It takes 10 years. And what it was important, in fact, in this project, of course, is the knowledge what we bring about diaspora online. But what was also important was that we was the first who mapped the web with this use case, diaspora. And we produced the first soft who can help us to crawl the subject, the very topical subject, and also to visualize the network, what we find. What is a diaspora? No, it's a population who lives outside of their original country, and they are more or less linked in between, and they build networks. And the e-diaspora atlas is a basic inventory of the networks on the web, what we represent in the form of graphs, and we have analyzed that. This is the definition of what you arrive to give to what is a diaspora. So it's a migrant collective, it's a dispersed collective, it's also an unstable collective. Yesterday we looked a little on the website with George, and we saw that some of the 9,000 websites that we collected in between 2008 and 2012, it doesn't work today. So it's like they have a life, the comet we say also. You read the comet, like a star, you know.
Yeah, life of a comet.
Yeah. This was the methodology what we applied. We explored the web, trying to find people, association who has websites. It was the time, the glorious time of the blogs at that period when we started. And each researcher analyzed it and keep them or don't keep them with the soft what we created, which is called Navicrawler. And after that, we crawled with another automatically, and we visualized. And we produce, after that, a platform where we put all this data. We produce also a soft to visualize all the contents of these networks, which is very known because Gaîté has downloaded more than 1 million times, and it's used today not only in diaspora study or in social network. It is used in biology, in neurology, in all kinds of other topics where we have networks. And it's much more known as the atlas today. But what is interesting that the sociological, in fact, research push, in fact, this soft, push à la naissance, push à la naissance, birth, you understand?
From the beginning?
Yeah, from the,
From birth?
at the beginning, all this comes from an inquiry. Because when I studied the first time, the first works of migrants, it was a famous website, Pajol, built by a collective of undocumented migrants, and it was helped by supporters to have this website. And after 6 years, this first page, history page of migration can die because the webmaster was tired to work on that in a voluntary way, and I was afraid what's happened with all this production and how we can make history without knowing, in fact, what's happened in that period on the web. So my first impulsion was to conserve all these websites. And after that, I realized that I can analyze and that I can make something with them. How you see in this picture, we have to the exploration with a semi-automatic crawl. After that, we visualize them, but we also archive them. We start with 9,000, in fact, we start at 9,000 websites that correspond to 30 diaspora. And I will go out for the moment. I will go directly on the website, which is not here. It must be here. Okay. Yes, you have it here. Good. So, if you open this page, you open, in fact, acknowledge about this 30 diaspora, what you will see here. And how we work on that, I will take the Moroccan example, but I can take each of others. You have here all the, how it works, the atlas, and you get the methodology, the software we have used, and all the explication of the experimental protocol. And from this web, you can go to explore the graph. You can have it in a very ground way here, but you can understand a little more if you go further and you analyze not only the configuration of the network, but also studying the relation in between the network. In fact, the web proposes you all the statistics about the network and explain you the color are here in these graphs, the color, the yellow are the association, the institutions are the ministerium dedicated to migration, you have the blogger and so on. And if I'm a sociologist, I understand, I will explain you why I'm interested in this graph. I take it like a tool, not like a knowledge, because it's not exhaustive. We stop in the moment to collect, in the moment when we have a key question. You see, this is a configuration with a density around this website. These are the association, which, you know, they don't quote it another, so they play like they are alone on the website. And here you have the blogosphere. And if I'm this Ministerium of Moroccan from abroad, I'm very interested why this website federated all the Moroccan diaspora. So I understand, and then I study what's happened in this media, and I want to understand how can I keep it, because each original country wants to keep and to keep close her diaspora. So it's a very interesting geopolitical tools for different actors, for the association to see what's position, for the media to see who they pointed and who pointed them, and whom are authority on the web, who is the hub, and what's happened in fact And the graph can open each of the sites. Yabiladi is the famous website that I never see. He's in life since 30 years, and he still is in the center of the Moroccan diaspora. And why, as media, why they are so important? Because it's a media about all and nothing. They speak all and nothing. A very domestic question, and many people go on that. But in this moment, and since 30 years, they are the leader of the diaspora on the web, Moroccan diaspora on the web. And so on, I can show you further each of the, I don't know, others diaspora. You can go yourself inside. Okay, I want to go down. No, I want. Okay. What's happened? I lost them. Okay. You can zoom, of course, but when you are in, I don't know, a diaspora, I go to, I don't know which one, Nepali, for example, you can have the language, for example, like here, and after that you can go down and you can have all the, if you want to see, for example, only the websites who speak English, you can have all the statistics here of the graphs with a lot of characteristics, and you can open and understand, because each of them was worked by the researcher, okay? So I show you a little how it works. So all these websites worked like that, was archived each week, and we have a 70 tera archive today. And the last PhD work was how these networks evaluate in the time, and we produce other tools and so on. You forgot home, isn't the atlas? Or you take it in the paper?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot it.
You forgot it.
Yeah.
But
she has a beautiful publication.
Yeah. In the film, what I will show you next, you will see at the end, because the atlas now is in the museum collection, and I explain in the little film how it works. And I think it's the moment to go further, no? To show what we have in the museum, and after that to go back to the experimental protocol and to explain for the others, maybe installation, they are much more artistic how we work, okay?
Yeah.
You propose me this. Okay, I don't know. I will close that.
Maybe while you're doing that, can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah.
So basically you're recording, you're discovering on the internet the presence of these migrant communities that create websites.
Yes.
And so it gives an idea of their presence. And,
on the web.
Yeah, on the web.
And who points who? That was the most important things. If they are connected with others, diaspora.
And so, and also you had mentioned that some of the websites have
authority, makes authority.
Yeah. So do you see it as a historical record, or does it continue to evolve?
It's evolved enormously. For example, all the blogosphere is died because people move to Twitter. But we can, in the archive, see that. So we kept this moment. So the evolution of the networks is linked to what's happening in the technology and the social networks. But also we kept, for example, what's happened to the Arabic revolution. We kept this moment, and we see or we kept election. We saw that in the election there are big activity, the diaspora grows, and after the election they have this plasticity, they become smaller. This is one of the characteristics of the diaspora on the web. Another is that they don't follow necessarily the presence, the geographical presence of diaspora. For example, you can have I don't know, 90% of the Kerala people from India in the Dubai, and so on, and only 10% in the United States. The web of this 10%, the Kerala in the United States, is more important as 90% of the people who lives in Dubai already. And that is also very interesting. For what we see also, yes, that if a nationalization of the diaspora on the web. For example, if I'm a Moroccan association in France, I will find more other association in France, but not in Canada. So the transnational ties are not so evident on the web. That was a surprise, because the web is now without border, and they make border, in fact, on the web. I don't know, you can, each presentation has the article in each, when you go on the site, and you can find a lot of things. And it is open source, don't forget, Gaîté, so you can use it, you can make what you want. Now the final valorization of the atlas, you will see in the film what I will show you immediately. In fact, we built an atlas multi-support on the paper. We built after that an application that connects with the graph like here. And we produce after that the web, what you see, where the researcher puts their articles, and where you have the door to go inside the platform where you have all the databases. And from that we have the 5 level where you arrive to the archive, but there each researcher or PhD has only right to arrive. Not everybody can go to the archive, because you must make I don't know, a good instruction before to access, because we compact and we give another informatical form to this archive, and it's not so easy to perform, in fact, this archive. And you see, what I already told you, we do a good research field, very sociological, very classical. We go after that on the website. We collect the data. We produce the software. We have a little innovation inside this research, technical. And after that, we work with designer in Ergonom to bring this very interesting object, because it was one of the first atlas who was both printed on paper, but who was connected to an electronic application. And that was 2010, 2012. And it was a pioneer work at that moment. Yes, in between I saw also others who do that with you and so on. But you will see. I will show you now to go to other projects. You find the link of the diaspora on the page, but just okay. And I will show you the film now. This film is made by the school because I was invited to integrate the school installation, the permanent collection of this National Museum. For me it was very important because they date that on the historical parcours, that material connected migrant was validated, I can say, in this way. But they integrate also 3 other installations, and we will see that. You see, it's translated in English. I speak in French. You hear?
She's up in the room now.
Nous allons aujourd'hui, après presque un peu plus de 20 ans, dans sa place au musée de l'histoire de l'immigration.
Okay.
Et quand je parle de migrants connectés, je parle de tout l'équipement qu'on porte sur nous et qui donne accès. Le passeport biologique, la carte bancaire, le Navigo, la carte santé, bien entendu le téléphone avec tout ce qu'il contient et l'accès à l'Internet, et qui permet aux migrants d'être plutôt une figure de navigateur que de l'interaction. C'est une reconnaissance de mon travail académique, mais au-delà de ça, c'est surtout une reconnaissance de changement des figures des migrants. Les migrants connectés avec tout l'équipement qui donne accès à distance humanitaire instantanément fait qu'il y a plus de présence que d'absence dans sa figure et dans ses pratiques quotidiennes. À travers, disons, ma contribution, le musée veut montrer sur tout ça. La réalisée de
C'est le Palais.
cette œuvre au screen et qui a utilisé des archives d'enregistrement de mes recherches sur cette présence à distance. Elle a créé une œuvre qui montre la vie d'un couple bénévolien et de son ami Yoro, qui ont eu la gentillesse de me laisser filmer leur vie quotidienne pendant quelques mois, justement pour montrer qu'est-ce que signifie être chez soi, aussi à distance aujourd'hui. Et la vie, en fait, des gens et de migrants connectés. Le migrant connecté, du fait qu'il est équipé, il est tout le temps joignable, il est l'acteur de plusieurs présences, peut-être incomplètes, ils ne sont pas face-to-face comme on est là. C'est une des caractéristiques essentielles, en fait, de la constitution de la figure du migrant connecté d'aujourd'hui.
This is the second installation. I will tell you more about that after.
Vous avez un œuvre artistique, intitulé Pourquoi j'accueille, que je co-signe avec Philippe Villas-Bois et qui a été complètement réalisé à l'école par Michael Palais. Un corpus d'une douzaine de mille de messages d'hospitalité. Les Français disaient pourquoi ils souhaitaient recevoir des réfugiés chez eux sur la plateforme Calme, comme à la maison, qui aujourd'hui s'appelle J'accueille, ou le titre Pourquoi j'accueille, de l'association SINGA. Et avec Philippe Villas-Bois, on a trouvé cette solution qui est facile et qui ramène en effet l'émotion en fait, qu'on a, puisqu'on va lire en fait dans les mains. Les gens vont recevoir le message de 12 000 anonymes dans l'intégration.
Le touch effect, le moulage, les producteurs.
Là, vous avez
That is the
un
paper.
petit morceau de grand atlas des diaspora. Qu'est-ce que c'est une diaspora? C'est la présence d'une diaspora dans le web. Entre 2008 et 2012, nous avons collecté et archivé 9000 sites dédiés aux migrations, soit par des associations, soit par des institutions, soit par des blogueurs eux-mêmes migrantes. Et nous les avons bien visualisés avec un logiciel que nous avons créé qui s'appelle Gaîté. 80 chercheurs ont travaillé dans le cadre de ce projet, des sciences sociales et aussi des ingénieurs qui ont fabriqué les outils avec lesquels nous avons fabriqué l'atlas. C'est un atlas augmenté, multi-support, qui commence avec 9000 sites et qui se termine avec une archive de 70 terras déposée à l'INA, qui est un de l'Institut de polygraphe du web. Il y a une version papier qui se connecte à une application où les graphes sont expliqués par les chercheurs et ensuite vous pouvez aller sur le site et de là vous allez sur le 4e étage qui est une plateforme de statistiques et un open source et tout chercheur qui a affaire avec une des 30 diasporas analysées dans le cadre de cet atlas peuvent utiliser ensuite les outils que nous avons créés pour collecter, visualiser et continuer la recherche.
Okay, that's all. We stop this here. Yeah, finish that. So you understand how it works, the atlas. And now we can maybe. You have a question? Why? No?
No.
Okay. You can stop me if you wish.
No, you have to explain the hand project.
Okay, I will explain it. There is somebody who writes something now. Jesus,
we're good.
record is not on.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
No,
Okay.
that was September.
Okay, I will explain it, of course. I will close Gaîté. I will close the school. Okay. And I will close diaspora and we go to another. Okay. I will let them open and this is the Porte Dorée. this what is about that, isn't it? That you want that I talk a little, no?
Yeah.
So, in fact, everything starts with this website this time. It's the platform, the website of you say association? Yes, association. Dedicated to refugees and SINGA. And this is the website specifically for addressed to French families who want to receive refugees home when they arrive. And I met the two guys who founded this association in 2010, something like that. And they was already convinced that refugees today, maybe they are undocumented, but they have a smartphone in their pocket, and that staying connected is very important. And we organized a hackathon at that period. And because another things what I observed on this very traditional field work in sociology of migration was that, in fact, in each receipt biographic of migrants and narrative, you find the moment when somebody anonymous brings him in the society, give him the codes, help him to one moment, sometimes sending him an invitation, sometimes going with him helping to make administrative forms, sometimes giving him jobs. But this moment was very important to give him this code. So I call that integration by below. We have integration by Palais, which is institutional by the laws and so on, but we have also the integration by below, which is invisible, but which is very important. And there are very many people who do that. And this is what I explained to this association and in the hackathon, and we start to think how to produce something to match, in fact, the connectivity of the migrants, refugees with families who wanted maybe to host them, and to give them this integration by immersion. Yes? And we produce, in fact, this program, which at the beginning calls CAL, comme à la maison, like home. And after that, it calls j'accueille, which means in French, I welcome. And it doesn't work at the beginning. They have no money and so on. You know, each innovation takes time. And in 2015, there was the huge refugees movement of Syrians who comes in Europe. And at that moment, the media, in fact, wake up and show so many migrants with telephone and how they use it in their movement, and people got the conscience that migrants is connected from that moment, not before. And with this association, we started to build a website. And it was not like that, of course, but when you want if you want to receive a migrant, you must subscribe, and you must fill question about you. Who are you? Where do you want to stay? How room or what you can give them? How long? And there was also in the formula 2 questions open. Tell us something about you, and specifically tell us why do you want to receive, to welcome refugees from. And at the end of 2017, we got more than 12,000 families who subscribed, and that was very interesting. And I started to work with digital methods to understand why, what happened in fact. And it was quite interesting what we found. So I go back, not on that, the others. When I put this here, I think, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just want to
And
maybe just describe it again, because it's, for me,
yes.
it was not evident, or I was surprised that 12,000 families,
There are more than 22 in this moment.
22,000
Yeah.
families
Yeah.
join this organization
Yeah.
as a way to
And
get,
propose themselves to welcome
get-
refugees home. Yeah.
to welcome a refugee to move in with them for, and last night he told me it's for a period of 3 months.
Yeah. They start with 3 months, but sometimes they keep them longer.
Right.
It's
So-
done like that. And sometimes they finish with somebody and they go to another family. And the association wanted at the beginning to build an Airbnb for the refugees, but it doesn't work because you cannot delegate to the machine the hospitality. So they keep only at the end the formula for the questionnaire for the subscription of the French family. And they put in contact, they mediated the refugees with families, and he organized that in a very human way, in fact. But to collect and to have the data for the French families, they keep, and they still keep the website today in life, and French people subscribe, still subscribe, and it works very well. They open in very many cities and out of France, in fact, the office where it's happened, where family, French family, or I don't know, Belgium, or I don't know, where they have office, are in contact with refugees, and they take them and they take time with them. But what in this figure, what I show you here, you see the data what I got, and in this part and this part tell us a little like something about you. And also tell us why do you receive and why they want to receive. They want to receive because one of their grandfathers was in the same situation. They want to receive because when they travel in that country, there was incredible good welcome. They want to receive because their children must learn what is diversity and kindness and something like that. They want to receive because the mother is dying and they want to have somebody close. They want to receive because the child, the son, goes to the faculty and they have a lot of space. So there was a lot of situations. You start to read 10, 30, and after that, believe me, you have lumps in your eyes. Because it's very emotional, very, very strong. Of course, I do what I know. I pick these databases at the beginning to understand the evolution and what are the words of hospitality. And that was the research study. But it was not enough, and it's a good example to show you how sociological study becomes and needs an artistical word. Because things what you can maybe show and knowledge what you can bring with your sociological study, I couldn't bring the emotion in another way. So that's why I made this in fact, installation, what you saw in the image before in the museum. It started like that. So studying the word of hospitality, already you see here, the first statistic is that people, we have two category people they are very urban and they are around 30 years old, and people who are 50 years old propose themselves to reside more than other category. These are the professional category. It's everything, but a lot of cartoons. So we study with yes. What shall I show you? These are the top words what they are used. Maybe they are not so interesting. We make cluster with these words. We speak of others. We have made category by clusters of words, but this is interesting for me because it shows how the evolution, in fact, of the words of hospitality. You see here in the image, you have urgence, for example. In 2015, it was very high, and now it goes down, and a little goes again because with the Ukrainian refugees. You have, I don't know, experienced refugees, which is very high. You have partagé, which is still very important. And what is interesting, you have, for example, integration. Here, integrate, it goes high, but slowly. And it's show an engagement of not a short time for this family who receive. So they are more and more for integration, and they know that they must spend time now with people to make successful this integration by immersion. Okay. And we do a lot of beautiful things like that, for example, which is a very beautiful semantical landscape. And we use philomenia, which is done by the system complex in laboratory in Paris. And after that, we arrived here. And we arrived here because I wanted to show what I already tell you, the emotion, what we lost in our digital methods with our knowledge. So, how to show that? At the beginning, I imaged un mur de juste, a wall of the justice. Where people can take the ticket. I thought I will print all these 12,000 messages, and you can read it. And after that, I make a virtual reality project. In fact, when you put mask and you can have the letters in your hand, like that. And the museum didn't want this project because it was after COVID, and they say they must touch the mask, and no. And they proposed me, common Times Square, like an advertising, the message was like that. I said, no, that's really, it's not good at all. And with Philippe Villas-Boas, after that we find a solution, which was very good, and we produced it at school with my colleagues from technical department. So we make this moulage. How to say moulage in English?
It's a mold.
Yeah.
Of the two hands.
Okay. And when you touch it, in fact, you produce there is a chip and sensibility, yes, and the message is projected. And what you observe, I have thousands of photos and little videos. The people read with avec la voix haute.
Out loud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Out loud.
Loud?
Out loud.
Out loud. Yes. The messages. And it's aléatoire. So we have a corpus of 12,000 here. This could be the end of research. And another, what we are working now, and George was today, listened today, the first results about what? I call them why I came, because for the installation why I welcome, we have the French family, and now I want to make something in Miro with the refugees only, and I have a corpus of different corpus. We have two corpus, one with interviews, 200 hours of interviews, what I have done. Another, we have 400 hours done by Christian Lecoq of recording of political asylum application before a court judge. Well, we see a little in this image here. And we study that with different soft and machine, and we try to extract the emotion and to, after that, to have some visualization, or we don't know how we valorize that, but we want to go in the same way. The first question, what is addressed, is a research sociological question, which we are very interested. If the emotion in the narrative of refugees find what kind of emotion we find in the translation, because behind the judge, the narrative of the refugees are translated by somebody. So we have the both, in fact, receipt. And we can see what emotion migrate from the refugees to the translator. And I think it's a more important and generative and general question, not only for these cases. And the second is what can we do and how can we show, in fact, this emotion, and how to go out with I don't know, with something where the image or what we produce with this detection or take the same history and sensibilize in the case of these refugees. Well, so to conclude and to go to the question, my method is like that. I make a very sensory fieldwork. Then I collect data. Then I work with digital methods. Sometimes I produce myself solve for these digital methods. After that, I valorize that. If it is necessary for the scientific world in one way, but I work with digital, with designer and ergonauts. The atlas, we break it out like that because the researcher print, in fact, the network and goes down to, in the fieldwork, to give sense of this, what they find with the map. And that's why we do it, reproduce this object in this way. So not because it was beautiful, because in fact the use of the atlas give us the direction, and of course we work with two fabulous designers. I like to les nommer. It's Etienne Mineur, which find very incredible. It's an incredible designer. Volumique is his company, so you can look at that. It's very interesting for you too. He makes wonderful things, Etienne Mineur. And yes, that's it.
Thank you very much.
I have also jokes, but maybe it's not the case to show you. If you wish, in the discussion I can show you another project, which is like a Pokemon Go for unemployed people. It's an application today, and we deployed it now in northern France and around Paris, and it's used for young people. We push them in the mobility and to make them links and to find jobs like a treasure.
Can we talk about this?
Huh?
Let's talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, so I teach data analysis and data visualization. And so what is unique or different in this particular work, and it's not something I would have thought of, is you look, so basically the scenario is you have an immigrant in front of a judge asking for asylum,
Yeah.
right? To be able to live in France.
Yeah.
And so in that process of requesting that, there is an emotional component and the narrative.
Yeah.
And so,
You saw that the component today was disgust and sad.
yeah.
The emotion, what we
So-
expect.
So, and then you're using technology, like AI technology, as a way to try to pull out from the narrative the emotional values that are being communicated. So, a couple of things that, you know, I was trying to make sense of. Like, how do you get access to the data? So it's public data?
No, we do it in a very controlled research, and we don't make them public. So we use them, and that's why also we use technology to not show the real. We show images and we translate, in fact, because we want not to put in danger the life of these people. So it's a kind to speak about these people with emotion, but in another expression and another way.
So there's a kind of, so you protect the individuals,
Yes, of course.
and basically you're just kind of trying to make sense of how one makes this appeal in a legal situation in front of a judge, and how.
Our problem are especially that they speak a language that machine learning doesn't recognize. So we had a lot of problems with that.
And you have, so you mentioned so you have a lot of individuals who communicate in their own language, and
Yes.
then there's a translator.
Yes. And French, the translation in French, yeah.
Okay.
And it's really very interesting because it's so different also from a culture to another to express emotion. In a way, Chinese exprime, shows its emotion, and in other way, I don't know, somebody from l'île de la Réunion or from Mayotte or or Spanish. So we saw that is also a difficulty. I think the way is to make annotation. We specialize to understand the language and to learn machine maybe after that. We use library what already exists, so for the moment. And really we are in a very experimental way. We have a problem, we want to experiment around with new methods, and we see we are very exploratory in this moment. And okay, I cannot say that we finish it, and that we have very interesting things, because some objects are in derive, like in situationism, and we can have some beautiful artistic issues for the moment, but for the scientific part we have a lot to do, because behind this library, the code that produced in one way and is not safe for another language, and we must be concerned. And what I love to the students want to present today, it was their critical approach, and they was very concerned about this.
So this morning we saw a couple of master students from your program present their work based on audio speech analysis,
yes,
and then also translating that into text first,
yeah,
of all, and then using the text prompt,
yes,
to try to create
yes,
create images that represents their emotions.
Yes. We think maybe we can use also CASP, because neurocasp, to identify the emotion. If we cannot, they make we use library. We have also this technology in the faculty, but it takes time, and you must convince some refugees to come to that is not easy, this protocol. But it is another possibility, maybe. Okay.
Maybe there's some questions. Anyone?
Well, in this example, again, are you looking only at words, or you're looking at other, I don't know, like the tone of the voice or the...
We do it for the moment in two ways. We take the frequency of the voice and so really speech detection. And the other students work in fact to transcribe it, and after that to make prompt, and after that to make picture of that. So we work in these two ways too. And also we wanted to see if we work in these two ways, the same seconds what we analyze give us the same results. So it's really very exploratory for the moment, but I'm here and I'm interested to follow what's happened. Maybe it's a bad idea, I don't know, but we have the possibility to experiment something in this way.
Is the court interaction videotaped or just audio recording?
They are video.
Video, so you can also look at hand gesture.
Absolutely.
Facial
You can
expression.
analyze that too. It's another kind of analysis, of course. Yes. We have, in fact, 3 screens. On one we have the judge and the staff, and we have another screen with the refugee, the migrant and the translator.
Is there any way to see how effective, you don't get the information of how effective communication is, meaning somebody makes an appeal and then the judge makes an evaluation. You don't get that evaluation information.
Yes, we can have it, right? Because it was a long research In fact, Christian, who made all these 400 hours, in fact, he did this all. He studied mediated communication, so this was his field. And I think he studied many cases until the end of the delivery. I don't think that they have the delivery in that sense. They got it some weeks or some months after.
So, and who is Christian? Can you?
Christian Likov is a brilliant sociologist in my department.
No, sorry,
Brilliant sociologist.
Sociologist.
Yes, and sociology of technology. And he was the director of the department and also of the Orange Labs in Paris. Polytechnician.
And then in our conversation, you also mentioned Bruno Latour.
Yes, Bruno Latour is our mentor.
Okay.
And I belong to this laboratory, which we funded, which is Center for Sociology of Innovation, what today is Institut Interdisciplinaire pour l'Innovation, IQ, called as E3,
Yeah.
I3,
Yeah.
which is a CNRS laboratory, and which we grew today for a little department. But Latour is our mentor, and we follow a lot what he teaches. And I wanted to speak today about the experimental protocol, but the Calonne was a friend of Latour. They worked together, and he wrote the famous text about the domestication of.
So nobody here will know what that name is. Can you,
Domestication of scallops for 7 years.
Can you give the full name and what it is?
Yes, I gave you. I don't know where to put my glasses. Yes, I will find it. Yeah, look at that.
Michel Calon.
Michel Calon, you have it here. Yeah.
Actor network theory.
Yes. Yes. And the article is some elements of sociology of translation, domestication of scallops, and the fishermen of San Rio. So the aim of the article was to analyze the construction of scientific knowledge and the influence of a social group. And it's in fact the sociology of translation, and of course like that. I'm searching my glasses.
You had them earlier, so they might just be behind your computer or something. You had them earlier up there, so you were wearing them.
I lost my glasses. But, well, what is important, in fact, he described how this knowledge is founded, and you must report a problem. I already tell you what was my problem for the diaspora class is that we lost this archive, historical archives, etc. So, and after that you make alliance. I search people to work with them, to convince them, and so I interest them. After that I give them roles. I say you will do that, you will do you will do Gaîté, and you will study that, and you will do that. And at the end, it's how to find good selecting porte-parole to conserve in fact your knowledge and to propagate your knowledge. And the way to propagate this knowledge is what I already showed you. You can do a class like I showed you, or you can do a work, you can publish an article, and so on. But these are the 4 moments to produce a knowledge. I recommend you to read this article because it's very helpful in your conception. It's very studied, it's very famous. I think maybe the people who are, I know, at this, no, some of them, it's famous. You have here all the...
So Bruno Latour has been very influential in digital media arts
Yes.
Especially working with Peter Weibel at the ZK in Karlsruhe, Germany,
Yes.
creating a number of exhibitions and publications.
Yes.
And he kind of brings a social
And also his architect in
perspective.
the famous project La Boussole. Yes.
Brings a kind of social perspective to information.
Yes. And all his theory of network actors.
Yeah.
This was very influenced not only in sociologists and social science and policy, but also at least a lot of artists. They use this theory. And Bernard Stiegler also, the French philosopher of technology, influenced a lot also people in art, of course. Latour used my engineers. When they finished in diaspora, they moved in fact to Media Lab in Sciences Po, because Latour moved also to Sciences Po, and he funded with my engineers develop Gaîté and the other tools, the media. And he continued, yes, to there. Now he's not in that, but after diaspora, they still work different songs that we use today.
The book that I like by Latour is where he analyzes why certain scientific inventions move forward and others don't. And he gives the example of diesel. Diesel never, the engine that diesel designed never worked, but because of being quoted many times, it stayed in history. It kind of continued to have a presence with researchers continuing to try to advance the diesel engine. So that's an interesting book.
Have you ever studied Bruno Latour or not? Have you? Nobody teach him Bruno Latour?
Yeah,
Let's
you would,
study specific, well, read a lot about it.
yeah.
I wonder, do you think, how do you, within these frameworks, where do you feel that artificial intelligence exists? Or
Well, what is the point, or what? I have a critical position, of course. For example, for Joka Jobs, really, I try to destroy it.
The project we saw this morning, though, it explores how to use.
But it shows also the limit. I love that it shows the limit also of artificial intelligence. We can use it, but we are maybe, I think for an artistical object that finally it's helpful, but for the research I'm not sure that we can validate what we find with artificial intelligence. And each time we test it with machines, but we must validate it with our human capacity for the moment, sensory. So I see little limit for that. And for the recruitment, I did Joka Jobs because there is an excess of using CV and analyzing with algorithms. And to recruit people today with algorithm, by algorithm, or my application, what I build, push people to meet face to face and to have a real interaction. So I really fight against that. This is my position.
There will be a conference on campus April 17th and 19th, and it's called Creativity and AI. It's organized by the Longchamp Center for the Study of the Mind. So I'm going to have 2 days speakers from all over disciplines.
well, did you share that on the
It's still waiting for the final information.
Cool.
Did they find the fellows?
Excuse me?
Did they find
Thank
the
you.
fellows?
Thank you.
Why don't we when we finish up if we're
Yeah.
I have one last question.
Yes.
Regarding the hands exposition, I was wondering if any of the people that participated in the data correction process was actually able to go and see it and partake in the exposition, and maybe what was their reaction?
The reaction was fabulous.
Okay, all right.
Yes, people love it very much. Oh, out of what I image. I can show you a little film and they love it because that produces emotion immediately. Because you have the words of officiality and they comes in your hands. And you touch with the light. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yes, and it's moved. All the minister of migration comes and that too. Yeah, a lot of people. Yes, the people love that project very much. And also the others, which I have an essay from Isabel Gross, where you move, in fact, the point that you see what in fact, it's the life of a couple. She calls Angel, and she lives in Abidjan, and he calls Yoro, and he lives in Paris. And they meet every evening together, and they let us to record the 70 years of life together each evening. And we built this installation with Isabel Gross, and when you move the point, she do it, and not it's her work. You see what he see, and you see what he on the screen. At one moment, the application is very beautiful. I suggest you to go to see that. She's like in Wim Wenders, you know, she's de l'autre côté de l'écran. On the other side of the screen, and she said, I will use the screen like a mirror. And she started to make her maquillage and to make her beautiful, and he's there, and you see that, how he's on the other side of the mirror, you see? It's a very beautiful installation, and for me it was helpful because to show what is this connected migrant today, what is this life on the screen today, where is home in this condition today? And to sensibilize people for this image, how we live together, alone together today. That was the point, in fact.
Through virtual
yes,
communication.
it's really very beautiful, this moment. And
And which country is Abidjan?
Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yeah. And also it was incredible that they let us 70 hours to record, in fact, this intimacy. Yes, but they understand why we do it, and finally the work is wonderful. It's a really artistical work, wonderful. Not only helpful for my research to explain the migrants. No, that's it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.